We're not going. 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 You guys are fucking. I can't with you guys. I just said don't pace, and then you guys go out one by one like snails. I don't even know what to say, guys. All right. We're not going. We're not going. We're not going. We're not. I literally said 30 seconds ago, do not go at 34. One by one, you guys started going. Like, listen to me. I am the top dog. All right. Just start in 15 seconds. Are we good? All right. Welcome, everyone. It is the final race of AIS for D1. And a championship will be won today. Currently, the points gap between Anthony and Penguin is 10 points. A bit further back is Leroy and Juan, but they're basically out of the picture. I'm going to have to mute up for a second, so intro will be on pause. All right, I'm back, sir. My mom came home, and she's, like, disruptive as hell, so just tell me when I could continue. All right, I guess I'll just continue. So, an outside shot, I mean, Ryde's having autism in the infield, but an outside shot of Leroy and Juan. They start third and fourth in the championship today, but on pole today and for the final time this season is Shore getting a 32.327 here at Chicago, followed by Anthony in second place, the leader in the championship. And then third is Penguin, who is currently 10 points behind Anthony right now and is looking to get his first championship. Right behind him is his teammate, the two Chip Ganassi Racing's 3-4, and Leroy, number 9 Target Ganassi car, is going to line up fourth here. He's going to need to lead laps and win the race and hope that Penguin and Anthony both have bad days, but it's looking unlikely. In fifth place, making his debut in the number 8 RLL Patron car is Daniel. He will be starting fifth today. Sixth place is Juan, the Dex Imaging Penske here. He is currently last. He's nearly 65 points behind the current championship leaders, and he needs an absolute miracle today to try and win this championship. And rounding off the field is Rye, currently fifth in the championship. He was not able to make the chase, but he's going to be looking to try and at least get one last victory, as he was the winner 2 weeks ago in Michigan. But we will begin pacing right now. And 115 laps of fun and excitement awaits us here at Chicagoland. So our championship leader, Anthony, is going to be starting on the front row here on the outside. There is dirty air here. Last year out in Chicagoland, the package that they drove was 2 lanes and a lot of pack racing. This time it's not so much. There's going to be dirty air, and there's going to be a lot of it, and it's going to be difficult to try and pass. If I can compare this to any race, it's going to be similar to probably Homestead Miami. There's going to be a lot of passing, there's going to be a lot of beating, there's going to be a lot of banging, and there's going to be a lot of everything here, as there's 115 laps ahead of us at Chicagoland. No typing, by the way. So the drivers are going to round turn 3 right now. They double up out of 4, and the green flag can be called at any time between turn 4 and the start-finish line. And here we are for the final time in AIS history, and for the final time this season. Who's it going to be in Chicagoland? They're waiting for the green flag. And the officials throw it. We're green here. A good start from Penguin. Anthony falling back a bit. Shore's going to hold on to the lead as they go into turn 1. And so far, it's been a pretty clean start. Shore goes very high now, and he's into the wall. Him and Penguin are side by side now. Penguin on that inside. He needs a lot currently. If the result stands, Penguin will be the championship over Anthony. It's only 10 points here, so Anthony needs to make sure that he keeps Penguin at bay. Ooh, close. As Shore gets into the wall, he's going to lose a whole lot of positions. And now Anthony's going to be all over the back of Penguin as he smacks the wall there. No safer barriers in turn 4. The IRL officials want some carnage here, so they removed safer barriers around turn 4. So we'll see what commotion that causes as Anthony sneaks on the inside of Penguin. He needs to hold on to this right now. And currently, all championship protagonists are 1, 2, 3, 4 in the order of points that they are in. As Leroy washes up into the wall, he's going to lose a lot of positions here. And all of this, and we're only on lap 2 out of 115. Anthony going below the white line, which is not allowed for anyone. Last night, IRL officials did have to make changes as Penguin washes up into the wall. It's like these drivers are forgetting how to drive, and Penguin might be out of draft. No, he's still in draft, thankfully, but he's going to be quite far behind as Anthony again. I mean, he's just been the most dominant driver all season, and he's proving proving again today why he is. As Juan washes up into the wall. Costly mistake, a verbal for him will surely be coming from officials to watch out for the driving there on turns 4, as so far Penguin is still in second right now. He needs to try and win this race. And if we look at our points graph right now, I don't know if we can look at it more like, I'll tell you, the current gap is 10 points, and because Anthony has one more races, Penguin needs Anthony to finish third or worse while he gets the race win, and if Anthony gets laps of lead, he's going to need Anthony to finish all the way down in 5th position. So, on the nerves is Penguin today, so he needs to make sure that Anthony just starts not leading the laps, as he is closing the gap quite a bit now. He's going to try and make a move on the inside of turn 3. He tries to bump Anthony out the way, but just can't. He's going to wash up high here. Avoids the wall, though. And we do have someone. Mountain here. Mountain, if you join within the next 10 laps, you can merge. But you'll be like a lap or 2 down. Yep, Mountain. So far, side by side between Penguin and Anthony. Penguin will lead this lap for the first time today. Very good from him as one of the probably the better drivers in this league. You know, Penguin started off back in like 2 years ago when we first met him. He wasn't very skilled. Now he is becoming a very skilled driver. He's learned a lot over the years, and it's nice to see what he's done so far for road racing and in general, as he is looking to try and capture that championship today. But so far, he needs to just make sure that Anthony does not lead that many laps. And this person we've not talked about all season, Mountain. Mountain is finally returning for number 7 of Andretti Green Racing. He's gonna be a lap down. He was a bit late, but no harm, no foul. Oh, that timing board should be fixed after this lap. So right now it is still Anthony and Penguin. I mean, these two have just been the best drivers all season, and combined so far, they have both accounted for 3 out of the 11 wins this season. And last week out, Penguin and Leroy were able to secure the team's championship here. As it's close, I think Penguin just leads that lap by inches. Yeah. And currently 8 people in the field, and 55 points is the gap between first and 8th place. No, it's 45. So Leroy and Juan both need to start leading laps right now, or else their championships are basically thrown out the window. But it looks like it's going to be Juan and Anthony again, like it's been all season long. Last week out in Michigan, Anthony had a technical failure, had to leave and finish ace. If he didn't, he probably would have secured the championship last week. But you gotta continue driving, and it was Penguin who, on top of leading the most laps, got the win here last week out. As now Shore is trying to join the battle here for the lead of the race. As Penguin is going below that white line. Oof. That's what happens when you go, and he's going to lose a position to Shore here. Yep, Shore's on his inside. That's not what you want here. Got way below the white line. I don't know what he was trying to do, but, that's what happens. So he's going to be beating himself up over that. As we're about 40% of our way there to the first round of green flag pit stops, which will probably be around laps 30 or 40. Expect it to be a 2 or 3 stopper, depending on how the race goes here. But for Anthony, all he needs to do right now is just lay back and chill as he starts just leading laps and under the floodlights at Chicagoland starts doing what he needs to do. Someone we've not talked about today is Ride Rail 14. He's had an up and down season so far. He's currently sitting 5th in points right now, having currently on a streak of 2 top 3s in the last 2 races. And ever since last season, he's just become better and better. And if there was another season, he would surely be a title threat. And last week out in Daytona, in a separate league, he was able to manage to pull off the win, staying on that inside, which is best, to be honest, just avoiding the wrecks. And he has become a very skilled driver over the years, and it's interesting to see what he's done so far. This league has helped him grow a lot, and we'll see what he accomplishes over the next couple of years. Making his debut today is Daniel, currently in the number 8 Patron car for Vort. He was able to get signed last minute on a last-minute deal, so he is going to be driving this car today. He's making his debut, and came from a separate IndyCar league that merged with AIS, so, definitely not a nobody. He is a somebody, and he's trying to make a name for himself today. As there is a lot of battling going on between Penguin and Shore right now. Penguin just trying to fend off because he needs to try and catch Anthony, and Shore's like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to make my way up in the championship. He's currently 11th right now, but a good day in the office could mean that he gets ace in the championship come the final standings. So Penguin needs to just hold on to that. Well, as it is settling down right now, I think we'll just ride on, do a couple laps of crank it up here. So we'll let the drivers' engines do the talking for the next couple of laps. And out in Chicago. So that has been Crank It Up that here at Chicagoland. As we come back onto the field, we see Shore has managed to overtake Penguin here and got 2nd place. Anthony still holding on to this lead. There is still a long way to go. And we are getting reports from teams that drivers will be coming down pit road within the next 10 to 15 laps here for their first round of green flag pit stops, unless a caution will come up. And in AIS history, there has never been a race that has gone completely caution-free. There's been one caution There's been cautions that have ended the race, but there's never been a caution-free race here. As Shore and Penguin, they got bumper wheel lock there. That could have been really bad for the two of them. As Penguin is gonna try and send it on the inside of Anthony. Anthony getting washed up in that high lane. He's gonna go side by side with Penguin here. But as they come to the white and black striped line, it's gonna be Penguin that leads this lap here, and Shore just still trying to follow suit right behind them. It's a 3-car battle. Ride, Leroy, Juan, and Daniel are in their pack of their own, and they're just trying to catch up. But as we look, Shore trying to make a move to the outside of Penguin. Anthony fully lifting off the throttle here as they enter turn 3. And gonna get washed up a bit. Shore's gonna move Penguin up the racetrack and go on the inside. And across the line, it's gonna be Penguin that still leads the lap, but he might lose another position as Anthony is in that draft on the inside, and he's gonna get it, yeah. Almost certainly, as Penguin nearly forces him completely under. Anthony has to take avoiding action. And we are getting reports that that Mountain, our ace place driver, is having to park the car due to lag issues. For his final race, he will finish ace place here in Chicagoland. Anthony and Shore still battling here. It's a 3-car battle for the lead. And where did Leroy go? Can't see Leroy. I might have to reset. Oh, he flipped. Leroy died. Then that's going to be a caution. So the caution's out here, and as they race to the flag, it's going to be Penguin that leads us into the caution. And our first caution of the day, as Leroy has flipped on track. I don't know if it was caught on camera. And so he has to take avoiding action. And we are getting reports, Anthony and I don't know. I don't think it was caught on camera. It's always race back. Where did Leroy go? Gonna be a caution. But the caution's out here, and as they race to the flag, it's gonna be Penguin that leads us into the caution. The caution's out. Guys, get in line. Alright, so pit stops are open. GNT is the call as Ride and Daniel are both fully under the white line here. They're side by side, which is not allowed into the pit lane. They're going to need to figure that out, or they're both going to get penalized. And as we go into the pit lane, they're going to go side by side. Unbelievably, as Ride... Oh! We'll get a definite warning for that, as into pit lane we go. Anthony going to go... Oh, he's been touched by Shore. Shore just tries to get into the pit stall, realizes it's too late, and absolutely messes up his day here, as everyone is into the pits right now. Anthony, first one out. Here comes Penguin. Penguin's got the jump on Anthony. Shore right there. And... Oh! What's happened there? So 1 out of 3 for Ride for being stupid into the pit lane. He has to take avoiding action. Also, Gene, can you mute the sounds of the cars for the stream? I think it's like your audio thing, because it's like kind of laggy. I don't know. So we're 20% of the way through. And we will be having a restart here Everyone is loaded up on fuel. And it's going to be Penguin that does lead the field here. Back to the green flag. Here we go, out of turn 4. One will the officials decide to call it a green here. Green flags out. Oh, Penguin jumps the start and a huge stack up and follows Juan all the way up to second after that. A huge stack up there as Penguin jumped the start and then had to immediately back off. Not what Penguin needs. Surely what Juan needs, and Leroy's still not in a good position, but good news from Juan, who's now up into third, but Anthony still needs to try and find his way back past Penguin again. And he might actually do it this lap as no. Willie, he's going to get the inside here. That inside is deadly as Penguin does lead the lap still. Sure, under the white. Oof, he had to back out of that one and he's into the wall. Nearly. Into the wall, shall I say. As I still do not know who got pole for NASCAR, so I'm going to open that up. Oh wait, I'm commentating. Shit, I'm not. I can't. So, so Anthony and Penguin. I mean, if I were to suspect, I feel like these guys are just gonna battle each other all day long, and for good reason. They're both really strong drivers, and in my opinion, probably the two best drivers we've had this season. Maybe Leroy, but struggling a bit too much right now. And we see that Penguin and Anthony are both battling very hard here. Anthony leads the lap. He just needs to rack up those laps so that if he can get 57 laps so that he will secure laps led before the end of the race. As it's just been those two leading, switching lead constantly from lap to lap, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens come the end of the race. And yeah, Juan's back down to fourth. It's not how he wanted his day to go, but still pretty good for him. He could still get third in the championship, as Anthony and Penguin are battling really hard right now. So Fox's ticker is broken. Unlike ours, our ticker is not broken, so you could see what position everyone in it is in. What? So Penguin leads the lap again. Ooh! On the inside goes Anthony. It's going to be close. Anthony's going to hold the position. He's going to take the lead up from Penguin. These two have been battling all day for the lead. Shore has led a couple laps, but it's just been these two. They've led nearly 90% of the laps here. As, Penguin and Anthony beating and banging. Tire lock there. That's what happens when championship rivals come together. And drama it is as Ride is caught up. I think they've basically left the backpack in the behind. Shades of 2006 as reports of Juan flipping. Reports of Juan died. Single car incident. He hit the wall and flipped. Probably his fault. So no caution. Yep, no caution. Drivers were warned about hitting the wall beforehand, as it's known to be a bit buggy, so driver's error as Penguin's into the wall. Penguin smacks the wall here, and he's going to lose both positions to Ride and Anthony. I wonder what Ride will do here. He's basically secured 5th in the championship. He won't get anything except bragging rights for winning this race, so will he help Anthony or try and overtake him and help Penguin? Or will he just be his own, or will he act like Rod and just not care for anything and just try and win the race? Looks like he's going to try and win the race here. As he's going to wash up into the wall, actually, and give the position away to Penguin. Ride back in. Yeah. So currently we're in a train right now of Anthony leading the draft slash pack. My chair is really uncomfortable. I hate it. Um, and it looks like Anthony is just one step of the way there to securing lap sled, and what he needs is these lap sled. He's getting bumpered by Penguin here, giving him the hinge tap. Very, very bad hinge tap, but still a hinge tap nevertheless. He just can't seem to do it. Right, stop typing while driving. Ooh, Penguin trying to make that second lane work. He's gonna get a better exit for sure than Anthony. He's gonna try and pull over. No, he is. He's gonna try and force Anthony very low and try and make the move here just like that, but he was way too far back. If he was closer, he could have snuck on the inside. Couldn't do it on that lap. If we look at the fuel of the drivers, currently nearly halfway through for fuel. Ooh, Penguin cannot overtake under the white. He's going to try anyways. He's going to have to forfeit that position to Anthony, which he does. Anthony just could not get clear from there. Penguin gave him the position, just could not take advantage of that. And Anthony's going to have to slot back into second as Rides now join the battle here. And Anthony bumping Penguin into the corner. They're both going to go high here. Penguin into the wall here. 3 wide as Penguin just fully gets stuck against the wall. And Anthony and Ride both are now side by side. No mercy from Anthony here. He's trying to get his first championship. Lost out a couple times last season, Chicagoland. Very same instance, but 2 different championship protagonists of Dambo and Mr. Goober. Fortunately, he lost it, turning in last second into an already happening crash. Had he not turned in, he would have won the championship, but he turned in and forced 2 people below the apron. And he's just trying to get his first championship. He lost out in homes by just not having road course luck in Bubbles Cup Season 2. Lost out in Season 3 as well. He's looking to just try and get a championship, and this could be his first in IndyCar. Definitely one of the best drivers in the server, period. He's just trying to put an exclamation point on an already strong career in AIS, consisting of, get ready for this, a grand total of 4 wins across all series, meaning that over the course of about 40-ish races, Anthony has won about 10% of every race so far. Yeah, just absolutely incredible work from him. Same with Leroy, both having 4 wins across everything. Yeah, so lot to play for here still. As Penguin sneaks on the inside of Anthony here, and Anthony's gonna he's gonna hit the wall there. He's gonna lose a bit of time. Takes the full outside lane, and that's just not gonna work out for him. As Ride has now joined the battle. Fully under the white line will be a warning from both of them from the race control here. And Penguin will hold onto the lead right now at 44. Fuel, in terms of drivers, they're still in the green here, or in the yellow. It's running low, but they can run a bit more laps, as I think Suarez got into the wall or something. Actually, an actual NASCAR for qualifying, but yeah, Rod's still trying to make a move on Penguin right now. Side by side, Penguin's being able to clear Ride here. The coffee I had for breakfast earlier tasted like a cigar, so my mouth tastes like a cigar right now. Here we are, right on the inside of Penguin. What's gonna happen here? Where is Anthony gonna go? Is he gonna follow Ryder? Is he gonna follow Penguin? He's gonna follow Penguin. Oh, he's gonna try and get him out of the way here. He's just gonna try and move him out. Just can't do that. As Penguin and Ride. Oh, Ride was a very late block. Penguin will not have to forfeit that position, as that was a very bad block. As again, they're just beating and banging here. Absolutely nothing. Penguin giving nothing to Ride here, and in return, Penguin giving nothing. Ride giving nothing to Penguin. Anthony again, just on that high line. I don't know what he's trying to do here, but he's trying to do something. Try and win that race here. Maybe he knows the terrorist that Ride is. Ride was voted biggest terrorist last season, and for good reason why. So as Anthony gives Penguin laps led right now. Oh, sure, huge hit. He's lagged. He's froze. Oh, a huge hit for sure. No caution. Just keep on going, sure. A heavy, heavy hit. Managed to recover it, though, as Ride and Penguin are getting very racy right now. Ride on the inside of Penguin. We're at lap 50 right now. 7 more laps until halfway, and as we look at the fuel for every driver, it is getting very low right now. They're going to have to pit with at least everyone will probably come in before lap 60, and if you're in a pack, you're going to probably want to pit in a pack so you can continue getting draft. So we'll see what the leaders choose to do, as we're going to get our second retirement of the day. Started with saying, and we're already down 2-6, as the number 8 car of Daniel will retire from lag. He's going to pull it into the pit lane. Now, for everyone just watching for the first time, there is a rule about pit lane. You can go full speed into the pit lane. You cannot speed in pit lane. Full speed into the pit lane, it's allowed. And we're going to see Penguin on that inside again. Ganassi car trying to do what he does best and just lead laps right now, as Anthony is going to... Oh, you did, sure. I'll just tell you when to pit then, okay? Yeah. You'll probably pit at the same time as Leroy, so I'll let you know. But Anthony and Penguin side by side again, as Anthony is going to clear Penguin here, and he's going to lead the lap here, lap 53 out of 115. There's still a long way to go, nearly 62 laps left. We're not even halfway through, basically. And yeah, it is Homestead again. Penguin, Anthony, and Ride. In D2, what happened was Penguin and Anthony, I think it was, crashed because Penguin froze, and the seas quite literally parted for Ride as there was a slight opening. Ride was able to go through and then win his first ever race, as we're getting reports of our first driver coming in. Leroy comes in. Come in, sure. Full speed. Remember, you guys could go in. So Leroy's the first person into the pits. Shore's going to follow suit. Make sure you guys go when the light turns green and not when you get fuel, by the way. Leroy's in. Here we go. Leroy begins to stop. Will Anthony, Penguin, and Ride choose to go down pit lane this lap? Their fuel is low. They're going to try and stretch it out for another lap here. They're not going to follow suit. Here we go. Leroy's out. Shore is somewhere, but he's already far enough back. But here we go. 2 leaders coming in. Penguin and Ride are both going to be coming in. They're 2 leaders here. Penguin ask Ride to pit. Will Anthony also follow into the pit lane? It's going to need to stay in the lead pack, so it might be worth it. We'll see what happens, though. Anthony is going to also pit as well. But so far, Penguin is going to lead Ride, and it's going to lead Anthony onto the pit lane. Here we go. Ride, Anthony, Penguin, all in for their stops. The next car back is Leroy. He's exiting 2 right now. Penguin's still in the pits, as Juan is also in. A bit further back. Maybe a wild card, if you do say. As Anthony and Ride are both done with their stops. Here comes Penguin. He's going to lose a bit of time to Ride and Anthony, but overall a pretty positive pit lane. Oh, he's hit a bump. A bump on the pit lane has caused that. As Anthony, he's messed up. He's forgotten how to get out of the pit lane, and he's going to lose a whole bunch of time here. There is a pit exit, and you guys need to press pace and unpace if you guys are struggling. Oh, man. Absolutely tragic for the 2 of them. Penguin just aced that. He knew exactly what to do there. Crazy stuff there. As it's going to be nearly a second lead for Penguin now. And as it stands, Penguin is going to win this championship. Anthony's all the way down in 4th. He's going to need to get a lot of time back. And he's barely in the draft of Leroy. This is not good for Anthony. He's going to need Leroy to work with him and Ride if they want to catch Penguin, as I think he is in the draft. Yep. Ride is not in the draft of Penguin. We are getting reports as we're halfway through. They're going to need to work real hard and just stick to that bottom and get quicker laps than Penguin, or their days are basically done with. So Rod just running the bottom like the good boy he is. Gap this lap, 1.3 last lap. This time it's 1.3. They gained 0.02 of a second on that lap. They're going to need to start gaining if they want to catch Penguin. As Ride takes a bad corner, that's going to affect them quite a lot here. Anthony also needs to catch up as well. The gap 2.6. It's going to be very difficult here. They're just going to have to start running laps and hoping for the best. As we're going to get another DNF. Shore is going to park the car. He's going to have to retire here. Or maybe not. So a bit of time lost for Ride on that lap. Will he choose to let someone else by so they could try and catch? Oh, Leroy's into the wall. But that is good news for Anthony now into the draft of both of them. Leroy experiencing some lag here. And it's going to be a bad day for sure. The pole sitter is going to have to go here. And we're going to get another retirement here. And all of this means that Leroy and Juan have both are out of the championship equation. No matter what happens now, Leroy and Juan will finish either third or fourth in this championship. It is now all between Anthony and Penguin. And Anthony, 2.4 back. He's going to need to start catching. .4 is still 2.1 this lap. So Anthony is catching. He's getting the draft from Ride and Leroy, but he's going to have to work with them. And he's in that dirty air of both of them as well. So I wonder if they're going to try and let Anthony pass or if they're going to try and work together because Anthony is definitely the quickest driver on track, no doubt about it. But what will both of Leroy and Ride do? So Anthony is catching. He's going to have to catch a lot more, though. So gap 1.2 this lap. Anthony gained 4/10 that lap. And if you look, there is quite a big gap between Anthony and Penguin. Penguin is in the middle of the back straight while Anthony exits 2. Going to need to have a really good pit stop maybe just to try and catch back up. Got up to Leroy as Leroy struggles here. I wonder if he's going to let Anthony pass or what will happen here. All of this battling is losing time to Penguin. They've lost a bit of time, so what will Ride and Leroy choose to do? Anthony's still trying to get this victory. Reports of Ride saying Leroy's holding me up. Reports from Leroy that Ride's holding me up. And reports from Anthony that this is not looking good right now for AJ Foyce. As we're about a third into this stint. Based on that, pit stops will probably be around lap 80 to lap 90. They're just continuously losing time to Penguin, who is just running that bottom. Give me a sec. Yeah. So Leroy, Ride, and Anthony just doesn't look so good for them. And all they're doing is just losing time to Penguin here, who is just starting to pull away as Anthony is going to get past Ride here. What about Leroy? Will Leroy let him through? He won't. He's going to try and bump draft Leroy. No, he's not. He's going to try and pull to the outside and make that move work. 1.6 is the gap. Anthony on that second lane to that bottom lane. He's going to get a better exit than Leroy here. Ride catching up as well. Anthony on that bottom lane with Leroy. They need to work together here, which they are not. As the gap went from 1.3 to 1.7, so looking a bit grim for Anthony here. As Leroy is, of course, teammates with Penguin. He's not going to let Anthony pass, and that will be a warning for Leroy. Absolutely, fully. He's going to have to give up the position to Anthony. He fully sent Anthony under the white there. We will have to give it up within the next lap here. And he will give Anthony the position here. But all this battling, I wonder. Oh, Ride nearly loses it. Ride into Leroy. What is Ride doing? And that's going to be a 1.5 out of 3 for Ride. Now Leroy and Ride here, as Anthony is now in clean air, and all he has to do now is just start closing that gap up on Penguin. The Penguin is just going to start leading all of these laps. And 45 laps left as well, so the laps are ticking down, and Penguin has fully led almost every lap in this stint as well. If Penguin manages to get laps led, then it's going to be whoever. Then Penguin will be 5 points ahead of Anthony, and then it's just whoever finishes higher basically at that point, unless they tie. So if Penguin gets laps led, I'll tell you everything you need to know. Points down to 5th. There's only 5 drivers remaining. If Penguin gets 3rd, Anthony gets 4th, and Penguin gets laps led, Anthony is champion. If Penguin gets 2nd, Anthony gets 3rd. With laps led, Penguin is champion. So he needs to finish a position ahead of Anthony, most importantly. And as it stands right now, Penguin is your champion. And Leroy and Ride are not going to be wanting any trouble here. They're not going to want to try and cause a caution, especially Leroy, considering his teammate is leading this race right now. So intense stuff here. No point for fastest lap, no stage cautions. Cautions only come out if, something bad happens. And Anthony is just struggling to catch that gap up. Oh, rides into the wall. He's going to go side by side with Leroy here. He's going to beat and bang with Leroy here. Check the fuel of the drivers. We're halfway through this stint, so we probably will get pit stops around lap 90 to 100, if I had to guess, unless a caution does come out. So far, only one caution today. And Anthony's probably just punching himself right now, wondering maybe if he had a better result last week or something. Could have been different, but for right now, Ryan and Leroy are wheel locked right now. Or they're going to have to try and save it. They do. But Leroy also trying to... lag from Leroy as Leroy falls out of Ride's draft pretty much. No, he does not. Still, anything will and can happen here. With Penguin right now, he is still 1.8 clear. He is just running laps and similar lap times between Anthony and Penguin, basically trading the exact same lap time. What can Anthony do is what everyone has on their mind. Nearly 2 seconds is the gap. The number 10 Ganassi car is looking to get his first championship. As Ride says lag, Ride is frozen and he's into the infield as I think he's flipped the car or something. He's still frozen. On track, gets it going again. No caution. Oh, he's still frozen and he's flipped. That's going to be a race back. Ride's basically flipped in the track. It's safety hazard. The caution's going to come out, and that's not what Penguin needs whatsoever. Ride, just respawn your car. Juan's fuel strategy out the window. Penguin's 2-second lead out the window.
I'm gonna quickly take off my sweatshirt. Wait, I'll rejoin.
The pits will be open this lap, by the way. So
there we go. It's off. I was getting hot in that sweatshirt.
So message from Penguin. He was getting hot in the sweatshirt. That is why he was slow for a hot second there. And I wonder if everyone's going to try and pit. I don't know if they can make it to the end. They're probably going to need another caution, but
no, I'm pitting.
We'll see what happens.
I'm actually kind of glad the caution came out because I actually wanted to take off the sweatshirt.
So Penguin would rather take off a sweatshirt than win a championship. Interesting analogy from Penguin, who and Anthony are both really close in laps led. It's all going to come down to this final stint, though. What's going to happen in the pit lane? Maybe the final time today? We'll see. Into the pits we go. Oh, Rod's going to have to give up that position to Juan. Which stall is Penguin going to take? Anthony's going to take the first one. And Penguin, he's missed his stall almost. Gets it back in it and see what happens from here. Anthony pointed like a hawk at that racing line. And we are green for Anthony. We're green for white. Here we go. Oh, I think Penguin's got it. Penguin has got the race off pit road. And we're going to have we're going to have 37 laps of racing here. I do not know if these cars are going to make it on fuel. I think everyone's going to have to pit at least one last time.
Actually, no. If it goes caution free, we should be able to make it on fuel.
No, we're not doubling up. Gene, reset your character if to get a ride because he flipped. Yeah. So 37 laps of racing when we go back to green, 36 depending on how it goes, and they all await for the official's message of the green being called. Anthony just trying to get that first championship. So is Penguin. Juan just trying to hold on. Leroy going to help Penguin. What's going to happen as we're back to green flag racing in AIS? As Anthony gets a good launch, Penguin basically equal here as they go across the line. Penguin is going to lead this lap. 79 out of 115. Leroy's going to go straight into Anthony. Anthony's going to try and clear Leroy. He's not going to be able to. He's going to get the draft from Penguin. Into turn 3 they go. Anthony and Leroy side by side. I think Anthony might have to forfeit that position. He's not going to. If we've learned anything about this man, he does not give up that easily. Well, he actually does give up that position as Penguin leads lap 80 out of 115. Ooh, Leroy going very high and blocking Anthony. I wonder if Rod's going to be forgiving for Anthony. No, he's not. He's going to take that line right there as he should. Now Leroy just trying to be the best teammate he could blocking. As Juan's going to be pitting, I think Juan thinks they're not going to make it on fuel and try and get a quick one on everyone. And Juan's into the pits. That is big, big news for Juan. And all of these laps that Penguin is leading, Anthony is just thinking right now, how can I be that person in front and controlling this race? He's fallen back quite a lot here. Basically been cut out from the pack away. Ooh, Ryan and Leroy banging there. A huge bang. As I wonder where Juan's going to come out. Juan's going to come out basically right where the pack is. He's going to have to give everyone a bit of space, but now Anthony, it's a 4-car battle, and he's going to have to try and get past Leroy. And as Leroy and Penguin are teammates, he's not going to let that happen easily. As Ride's going to take the lead. For the first time in nearly 30 laps, we have a new leader, Ride Rail 14. Good news for Anthony, him and Penguin are very close on laps led, as Ride, in typical Ride fashion, bottles it, and actually it will be Penguin that leads this lap again. All Anthony has to do to win this championship is just finish out of Penguin, as Leroy's on the inside of Penguin. Penguin is going to get swallowed up, and here comes Anthony. I think Leroy wanted to give that position back to Penguin. He's going to try and block Anthony on that inside line. Oh, he's failed. He's blocked. He's going to block his teammate instead. And Anthony is going to lead this lap. And here we go. 31 laps of racing remain. Anthony on the bottom. Penguin on the top. Leroy gonna follow. He's gonna follow his teammate here. Penguin gonna try and get the switchback here. He's not gonna be able to, and if he gets pushed wide by Anthony, Anthony's gonna lead this lap here with 30 laps of racing to go in AIS. It's gonna be close across the line. Anthony does lead it though. As we look at pits, does look like people are gonna need a pit again. Juan all the way back there. Juan's already pitted, so he might be good until the end. Here comes... Ooh, Penguin's going to have to try and get the bumper to Anthony. He's not going to be able to do it, though. And Anthony's going to clear on the inside. Penguin's following him. Very aggressive driving for Penguin. Nearly resulted in a massive crash there. I wonder what Rod's going to do. Rod's going to send it on Penguin. He's not trying to... I think he might be trying to help Anthony here with this championship. As they bumper locked. Rod and Penguin are bumper locked right now. I'm tire locked. That's not good. As into the corner, still tire locked. They're gonna have to try and figure this out here. They do.
Bro, Ride tried to force me up into the wall. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I saw. Don't worry. No, but you guys were bumper locked. So according to our fuel strategist down at the booth, it's not looking good for these drivers. Everyone will most likely have to pit again. Estimated lap around 105 to 115. I just wonder if anyone will be able to make it on fuel. The crew chiefs are calling in. They're saying we don't think we have the fuel to make it to the end. They don't think, and it's going to be very close here on what's going to happen. Ride's going to force Penguin high again. Yeah, all the crew chiefs are saying 110 is when they think they're going to have to pit here. And unless a caution comes out, it looks like we're going to get one more round of green flag pit stops. And those green flag pit stops are going to make and break a championship, as Anthony is going to lead lap 89 out of 115. Pride just blocking both of these... blocking both. They are teammates in terms of manufacturers. Oh, nearly a huge moment there. All of the Hondas currently 1, 2, 3, 4, and in terms of Anthony's still doing what he needs to do and holding on to the lead here, as Penguin's going to go on the inside of Ride. 26 laps of racing left here. And I think the drivers are getting nervous. They see it. It's no longer a 1. It's no longer a 2 before the second digit. It's now a 9. And they see how many laps it was. Race started nearly an hour ago. We've been doing this for an hour, and now with 25 laps to go, it's Anthony Anderson who leads this lap. And in terms of laps led, it's looking good for him. He led the majority of the laps in the first stage. Not stage, but in the first stint. Led around 30. And then Penguin led around 10. As we get reports of a car being broken for Leroy. Leroy, remerge if you must. Or turn on and off pace if that works. I don't know. As Penguin's under the white, you don't think you can do that. As Anthony's going to block low, Penguin. Not giving him anything. Anthony again just trying to find that way through. He's lost a position. Well, it looks like Penguin overtook under the white. Anthony's going to overtake under the white. And from the official word, no penalty for that, as Penguin was guilty of that. As Ride and Penguin are wheel locked again. Not good for them. This is not good for Penguin. He's going to need to figure it out.
Ride. This is getting ridiculous now. Ride's like hitting into me on purpose
That
now.
was not Ride's fault. You guys just wheel locked. That wasn't his fault. They're still wheel locked here. Nearly an entire lap of that, as we are on 20. Was 22 laps remaining here. What is the fuel saying? Fuel still says around the same thing. 110 is when the teams think the drivers will have to come in. Right, you're going to have to forfeit that position. And here we go. 21 laps to go as Anthony is going to lead this lap again. Just what Anthony needs, as they're both going to go into the wall here. Almost, they take the third line. Not what Penguin wants. So he's going to have to try and block Ride low. I don't think he's going to be able to. Not good for him. He is going to try anyways. Ride and Penguin just beating and banging here. Penguin's going to lose this position to Ride here. As Ride forces him into the wall, that's going to be a warning for Ride. A 2 out of 3 so far for Ride for reckless driving. Ooh. As we are now on 20 laps to go here. Only 20 more laps of racing. And boy, oh boy, it's looking close. Penguin Ride is just being an absolute unit for Penguin right now. Not letting him on the inside, not letting him on the outside, and not letting him past. And now he is. He's going to get past him. 19 laps to go. Rod's going to sneak back on the inside. Bald is battling. Anthony is laughing with his chinny chin chin. Looking on. Ride, you're going to have to forfeit that position. Blocked way too late. And now Penguin back in second position. I think right now Anthony has led the majority of the laps. While the 30 laps that Penguin led in that middle of the race was good for him. Anthony has just basically led the majority of laps today. He's led about the past 10 laps right now. It's the 4 and with the 30 he's got earlier. Anything can happen. Penguin needs to at least lead the majority of the rest of these laps if he wants to win the 5 extra points for laps, 15 extra points for laps led, and those 15 points are going to make and break a championship. If Anthony manages to get it, then he's basically secured this championship unless Penguin wins the race and he finishes in 5th. And with how far Juan is from the field, it looks like it's going to be close. I think Juan is going to be good on fuel though. I am going to see Juan's car to see how much fuel he has. I can't say anything though. But it does look good for Juan. That's all I'm going to say. Looks good for Juan. It looks like Juan, according to his crew chief, will be able to make it to the end. As might have missed that, but Ride and Penguin are now scrapping. I think Anthony has lost the position to both of them. Ride saying no. Oh, they're 3 wide right now for nearly the first time all race. As Penguin is going to lead this lap. Anthony just got stuck on that apron there. Lost a whole bunch of time with 14 laps to go. They're all going to have to pit, though, so anyone's guess on what happens now as Anthony runs that second line. He's going to lose a bit of time here. Penguin's going to regain it. Draft is strong here. Anthony just trying to do what he can. Anthony side by side with Penguin. With the caution not looking like it's going to happen, it looks like Anthony is going to need to try and lead these laps if he wants to secure this championship. Juan says he's froze and he's lost a whole bunch of time. That might have just cost him a really good position, possibly to win here. Penguin just blocking on that inside superbly. 12 to go here at Chicago. Anthony's going to try again. Try and move Penguin up the track. Gonna get a rear wing there. He's gonna get his front there. Penguin's not gonna be able to clear. And as we go into 3, I think Anthony's got that inside line. Will he get the position though? Penguin. Oh, he's had to back off. Yeah, Anthony is gonna lead this lap. And as we look at fuel, it's gonna be close. According to the teams, they only needed 10% more of that 11% more of that gas tank to be filled to make it to the end, but I don't think they will. As Penguin makes it on the inside of Anthony. Anthony's gonna lose the position and Penguin's gonna lead the lap. 10 to go here. And the fuel is getting tight for all of these drivers. When will they pit? And more importantly, who will win off pit lane? As Anthony's going to make a move to the inside. Trading laps. Oh, they've wheel locked. Anthony is going to get the position though. Will he? It's going to be close. He's got it. He's got the lap. He's got the lap. That's going to be good for him. Close, though. All of these drivers are going to need are pitting within the next 3 laps, including Leroy, who very far back. I wonder what's happened to him. Leroy already pit is the word. Very far back, so seems like his strategy's not worked out. I think it's just a game of chicken between Anthony and Penguin to see who's going to pit first. As across the line, Penguin's going to lead this lap. As Rod's going to be pitting. Penguin's going to pit. Will Anthony choose to stay out another lap here, or will he pit this time? The fuel is low. I don't think he's going to make it another lap. And I think he knows that as well. Into turn 3. Oh! Anthony takes an outside line. Is he going to pit? Anthony chooses to stay out here. This is going to be really close for him. Anthony leads this lap here. Ride did not pit, and Penguin was the only one to pit that lap. He's going to lose 2 laps led as Anthony's coming into the pits. Will Ride give that place to Anthony? Anthony's going to barely make it on fuel. He was at 5. I saw it on the deck, so Anthony might have just played that perfectly. He was at 5. I mean, both of them were very close. At Penguin entering 3 now. Anthony exits. Oh, he's lost a position to Ride, though. Out of turn. Here's Penguin. Rod gives it up to Anthony. Out of the pit lane. Ride. I think it's gonna be close. We got a race on our hands, folks. Will Anthony and Rod be able to catch up? They both had bad exits. Lap sled will matter. If Anthony did manage to manage to lead the laps, he only needs second. But if it was Penguin, then it's game over basically, unless Anthony catches up right now. But Ride is not going to make that easy. Ride is going to really not make that easy. He wants that win. He wants to prove himself to the teams and drivers that he is worthy of a seat. Not in AIS, but just in general, as he's going to move Penguin up the track here with only 5 laps to go. 4 to go at the line. They're going to wheel lock here. Penguin's going to lose this lap, and that is a lap that he does not want to lose. Anthony now coming. Oh, Ride's blocked Penguin. Anthony
Ride, this is getting ridiculous now. He's blocked. He's coming up, shoving me onto the outside on purpose, just to ruin my championship.
I'm sorry, Penguin. I had to mute you because it's getting close. Nothing illegal from Ride as here comes Anthony. Anthony's now in the mix. 3 to go. Penguin. Oh. That was close. 3 laps to go to decide this championship. Anthony's trying to get that move on Penguin. He's going to move Penguin up the high side. Side by side. With 2 laps to go, Penguin is going to... With 3 to go. Anthony gets the position. He's going to block Penguin. What is Ride going to do? Will Ride win this race, or will he let Anthony buy for the championship? 2 to go now. Anthony washes a bit high there. If he makes this move on Ride, he basically wins this championship. Ride blocks high. Anthony goes to the high side. He's going to go to the inside. Penguin to the bumper of Anthony. 1 lap to go. They're going to reach the white flag. Anthony, Ride, Penguin. Who is this going to be? Penguin under the white. You can't do that, sir. Anthony blocks on the bottom. Ride's left the door open. Anthony goes by. They've wheel locked though. Ride and Anthony. Ride. Will he forfeit this position? Or will he fight it with Anthony? Anthony to the bottom. Ride's gonna have to back off. He went under the white. Ride's gonna have to back off. He went under the white. And as they come to the line, your Season 2 champion is Anthony. For the first time in his career, he's won a championship. There's been so much frustration. There's been so much tries. There's been so many disappointments from Anthony over the years. And as they come across the black and white striped line, the winner in Chicagoland and the winner of the championship is Anthony. He lost Season 1 by inches. And today, Anthony is your champion. He missed the second race of the season. It looked like his hopes were done, but he has led this championship for the majority of the season. And he wins his 3rd race this season and his first ever row racing championship. What a performance from the number 14 AJ Foyce Racing. And this is the first championship for AJ Foyce Racing in so long. And Anthony Anderson will be going to the pits to go to victory lane, where everyone will be waiting for him. Where's victory lane? Well, it looks like the officials have forgotten to put in victory lane, so that will happen later. But Anthony now The number 14 AJ Foyce Racing is your champion. He's finally done it. There's been a lot of doubts. There's been a lot of opinions on this driver. There's been a lot of, will this guy actually be able to win the championship? And he's been able to do it. He had to make up a second gap there from Penguin. And Anthony's your championship winner for Season 2. Interviews will start now. I don't think Anthony talks, so we'll have to interview him on track, I think. So I don't know what Anthony's doing. He can unmute himself if he wants, or if he wants an interview. He needs to say something. Alright, so Anthony, the Season 2 champion, and the deserved one. I know you were a bit scared there with the chase, you know. Penguin led a lot of this race, but you led, I think according to my calculations, you led more laps, so it would not have really mattered if you came second, if he came first, because, yeah, but even if you came third, the laps led at the end from Ride managed to basically win you the championship in terms of laps led. So you win the championship. What's next? Win more championships. Aura is the word. All right. Well, for AIS, C-Sports has been the sole sponsor of AIS since our first ever race in Season 2. And they're going to be closing it out here. And in fashion, Anthony will be the one to close it out, and he will win his first ever championship. Congratulations to Anthony, and thank you to everyone who has made this season possible. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time on C Sports.
C Broadcasting Group and C Sports reserve their respective rights. Any unofficial use of this telecast without credit to C Broadcasting Group and the respective rights holder is prohibited.